Hey guys, it's Viva, and today I'm going to be doing a wrap-up of the Booktube-A-Thon, which was from the 3rd to the 9th of August, and in which we were supposed to read 7 books. I didn't read 7, but I did manage to read 6, which was super exciting. Yeah. The first challenge of the Booktube-A-Thon was to read a book with blue on its cover, and I chose Infinite Sky by C.J. Flood. I've already done a review for this, so if you haven't already seen it, I will put a link in the description below and also on my face right now. So yeah, go and check that one out. The second challenge was to read a book by an author who shares the same letter as my last name. Yes, I think that confuses me. But I read Small Steps by Louis Sachar. I'm going to stick with Sachar now. But again, I did a review of this. I will put a link in the description and a link on my face as well, so click to watch. The third book was to read someone else's favourite book. I chose to read my brother's favourite book, which was The Curious Incident of the Dog in the Night Time by Mark Haddon. I gave this book a 4 out of 5. This was a really fast read. It only has 270-ish pages, so that was really fast. I was able to read that in a day, even while doing work experience. So this is a book about an autistic boy called Christopher, whose neighbour's dog dies, and he takes it upon himself to investigate and find out who the murderer is. So in his search, he finds out certain things about other people, which kind of turns his world upside down at times. He never outright says that he's autistic, but you can sort of tell by his obsession with prime numbers and not liking certain colours and the way he acts around certain people. It's also set in England, which I liked because I managed to pick 3 books for the Booktube-A-Thon that were set in England. Always good to have things set at home. But yeah, that was just a little added bonus. And it's not only about a dog dying, which the title sort of insinuates. It's just a very simple and truthful view on Christopher's world, which I thought was nice. However, the ending is slightly rushed. I think it could have been explained slightly better. The next challenge was to read a book that I recently acquired. So I read Ketchup Clouds by Annabelle Picture, and I loved this book so much. It is so good. So it's basically about this girl called Zoe who is writing to a prisoner who is in death row in America, in Texas in America. And she is basically just telling him about what she did. So she has killed one of 2 brothers, and we don't find out which brother it is until the end, which I thought was really interesting and really gripping, because you find out quite early on that it's one of the 2 brothers, but well, I always thought it was the other one, but it turned out to be the one that it is. And yeah, okay, so you have Max, who's the younger, more popular brother and who is Zoe's boyfriend, and then you have Aaron, who is Max's older brother and who laughs at all of Zoe's jokes and understands all of her little witty comments, and Zoe basically just feels more connected to Aaron than she does to Max. Zoe has some family issues. Her parents are going through some financial problems. She has 2 sisters, one of which is deaf, and because of something her mother did when she was younger. So the name of the prisoner that she's writing to it starts off at the beginning of the book by being Mr. Stewart, so she goes, "Dear Mr. Stewart," and as the story progresses and she starts feeling more connected to this person that she's never met before, it goes from Mr. Stewart to Stuart and then to Stew. So it just shows how much she's relying on him and how much she just needs him to, you know, well, she doesn't even know if he's got the letters or anything like that, but she's just writing because she has no one else to tell. The format of this book is written in letters, so they're all letters to this Mr. Harris, and I thought I really enjoyed that. I was a bit sceptical at the beginning. I wasn't sure if I'd enjoy that kind of writing, but I did, and it was a surprise. The ending made me cry, but I get very emotional about books anyway, so it made me cry. But yeah, I would give Ketchup Clouds a 5 out of 5. Give this a read if you haven't already. And also, the day that this challenge, it was a challenge to read this book, there was also a Twitter sprint that Joel was hosting, and I won! It was basically to take a picture with your book and food. So because this is Ketchup Clouds, I decided to draw like ketchup clouds on a plate, and then I won the first Lunar Chronicles book, which I've wanted for so long. And yeah, that makes me so happy. The next book that I was supposed to read for the Booktube-A-Thon was a book that I wasn't allowed to let go of until I'd finished, and I chose The Cat Mummy by Jacqueline Wilson because, yeah, it has 96 pages and I did manage to finish this. It's basically just about this girl called Verity, and Verity's cat Mabel belonged to her mum who died, so she's quite attached to this cat. And then Verity one day finds Mabel dead inside her wardrobe and cannot let go of Mabel, so she mummifies her cat, and until her grandma smells dead animal, and then they give it a proper funeral, and that's basically all that happens. But it's basically just about Verity growing up and understanding that she has to let go of some things. And I gave this book a 3 out of 5. I think if I was younger I would definitely have given it a 5, but younger me would have given it a 5, but me right now I think a 3. Alright, the next book that I was supposed to read was Blood Red Road by Moira Young, so it was the book that I've really wanted to read. I'm 64 pages in. The only reason that I didn't really read this as much was because I didn't really like the writing style to begin with. It just took me a while because I sound out the words in my head when I'm reading, and all of this is just, like for and, they don't put the D at the end, there are no speech marks for when the person's talking, so it was slightly confusing to get my head around. So instead of reading Blood Red Road for my 6th challenge, I decided to read this book called 99 Days by Katie Cotugno. I really don't know how to say her last name. I gave it a 2 out of 5, and I think that was being generous, simply because nothing really happened. Just nothing happened. It's about this girl called Molly, who's been best friends with a family of 3 children. So you have Gabe, who's the oldest, and then younger twin siblings. So you have, oh gosh, I really can't remember her name. Julia and her twin Patrick. So she is Julia and Patrick's age, and Julia's her best friend, which is how she gets to know Patrick, and then they have just basically grown up and been best friends since they were little kids, and then they just sort of go into a relationship, but they start arguing over something, and Molly then betrays Patrick and goes with Gabe, and her mum is a writer, she's an author, so she basically writes a story about Molly's love life, which I thought was terrible, like which mother would do that to a child. But then everyone in her little town starts to hate her and calls her a slag and is really mean to her. So she runs away to a boarding school, but is back for the summer, so she has 99 days until she goes back to college. But literally nothing happens. I guess she builds up her friendship with the people she left behind, but the ending was just really disappointing. Literally nothing happened, she just went back to college. Also, I tried to do the challenges, I really did. The first challenge, what was the first challenge? It failed, the book dominoes, so yeah, you saw how that failed. Then it was the scene reenactment, that went okay. Then it was book tower, I didn't have time to do that because I was out literally all day that day. Then it was the book trailer. That was the day that I won Cinder on Twitter, so I was like, well, if I've already won it, then there's no point in doing the actual video challenge. And Fridays was, or maybe that was Fridays, I can't remember, but the last book challenge that I remember was, oh, there was the Chubby Bunny review thing. Again, I was busy all day that day. And then yesterday's was a book stacking challenge, which I completely failed at. I tried and I tried. I even took all my books downstairs because it's a harder floor. And I'm also quite tall. Well, I'm not that tall, but I'm not that short to make a book tower that's going to come to my height. So I tried all morning, but it just didn't work. So yeah, I read 6 books during the Booktube-A-Thon. Let me know how many books you read. I will be continuing with Blood Red Road, because I got a little bit more through it. I think I will enjoy it and I will finish it probably by the end of this week, hopefully, fingers crossed. But yeah, if you like this video, like and subscribe, and I will see you next time. Hasta levista, bookworms! Infinite Sky, Blood Red Road, I can't think of anything else.